So I'm going to run through all of these problems, and these are going to be like the review. So if this is number 1, if you're having trouble with 1 on the review, then this is the one you would look at. Okay? We're solving for x, so we're going to subtract 8. Get x equals negative 10. We're going to add 5 to both sides. We're going to divide by 2. Get x equals 15, 18. Subtract 7. Get rid of this. It's being divided by 3, so I'm going to times by 3. So I'm solving for x here. So I get rid of what's with it, take care of subtraction first. We get negative 8 equals negative 4x. Divide by negative 4. X equals 2. X is on both sides, so we got to take care of those first. Subtract the smaller one from both sides. Now it becomes like one of the earlier problems. Distribute in this 3. 6x plus 15 minus 8 is 9x plus 14. Okay. Combine like terms. 6x plus 7. And we have x's on both sides. We're going to subtract the smaller x. Okay. Subtract 14 from both sides. 3x equals negative 7. Divide by 3. Distribute in those numbers. 12x minus 15 plus 7 equals 6x minus 5x plus 25. Combine like terms. We get 12x minus 8 equals x plus 25. Subtract the smaller x from both sides. Minus x, that's a 1x. add 8. So we get 33. Divide by 11, x will equal 3. Distribute. (18x minus 12 plus 5x equals 30x minus 36 plus 1. We end up with 23x minus 12, 30x minus 35. Subtract the smaller x. Add 35. 23. Distribute in the -4. Combine like terms. So this 8 and -8 cancel. When we have a fraction, we're just going to distribute that fraction. Your calculator will do most of the work dealing with those fractions. So I type in 2/3 times 6, and that'll give me 4x. 2/3 times -9, that'll give me -6. 3/4 times 8 will give me 6. 3/4 times -4 will give me -3x. Okay. Because this is a -3x, we're going to add 3x. So we get 7x minus 6 equals 6. Add 6 to both sides. When x is on the bottom, we have to flip both sides. So I got to make that over 1. So I'm going to go x over 5 equals 1 over 5. I'm allowed to just do that. Then I can times by 5. Again, when x is on the bottom, we're going to have to flip it. So I make this a cosine over 1, and I flip 1 over cosine of 36 equals x over 3. And then now I can times by 3, and that'll give me what x is. So 3 times 1 divided by the cosine of 36. And it tells me it's 3.708. Okay. As soon as I see an I squared, we should learn that we get rid of that and we change the sign. So really we're doing 4x minus 2 equals 6. Add 2. 4x equals 8. Okay, so you need to know that trick. But get rid of that I squared. Okay, so we're going to subtract 15. And then essentially this is a negative 1. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 to get rid of that negative. 0 divided by negative 1 is 0. Okay? You're allowed to have 0 divided by negative 1. It's not, what you're not allowed to have is 1 divided by 0, which was not what we had there. So we're going to do at the top in our 8, B, and C. A, B, C. And then we're going to deal with our bottom. A, B is missing, and C. Okay. Negative 3 plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Typing that ugly square root in. Get 11. 3 plus 11, 14, so we get 7. And negative 4. So those are our top numbers. And really the top, these are our answers. Okay? But the bottom are bad numbers. So if one of our answers is a bad number, then we have to throw it out. Okay? So the bottom, we're going to go negative 0 plus or minus square root of 0 squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So type in that square root, 0 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 49, because it's 14. 0 plus 14, 0 minus 14 divided by 2. So these are our bad numbers. So these are the numbers we got to throw out if we get in one of our solutions. So that means we got to throw this one out. So my answer to this question is negative 4. Okay. So find the top 0, find the bottom zeros. Top are the answers, but throw away the bad ones. We're going to cross multiply on number 16. When you have a fraction that equals a fraction, you're allowed to cross multiply. Subtract the smaller x. 17 is a bonus type. So you can try to learn how to do it. This is a bonus. This is a bonus if you are in algebra transitions. So transitions bonus. You need to know how to do this if you're algebra 2. What you do is you times everything by what's on the bottom. So so you times if it doesn't have it already. So we're going to times this by x plus 4 because it didn't have that. We're going to times this by x. We're going to times this by both. And what that does is that makes all the bottoms basically the same. We're allowed to do this. And when all the bottoms are the same, we don't need them anymore. So we get x plus 4 times 1, which is just x plus 4, plus x times x is x squared, equals 1 times that just gives us that. So I can distribute this backwards. Okay. Subtract our x squareds. So I get x plus 4 equals 4x minus smaller x. When we have an exponent that we need to bring down, you log both sides. And that brings that down. So we get x log of 5 equals the log of 625. Divide by that log of 5. Type that in the calculator. Log of 625 divided by the log of 5. Get 4. Same thing here, but first we have to solve for this exponent stuff before we're allowed to log. Now I can log, and that's going to move this in front. So I get 3x minus 2 times the log of 4. I'm just making a video, so you can be in here. It doesn't matter. Okay. You don't want to be on my video? Yeah. Maybe next time. So log of 19 divided by log of 4. Okay, gives me this ugly thing. 2.123 dot dot dot. I need to add 2 to that, which gives me 4.123 dot dot dot. I'm just kind of leaving this in the calculator and then divide that by 3. And it tells me that x equals 1.375. Okay. This is a transitions bonus. First thing we got to do is divide by 3. And then we have to get it out of log form. So 2 raised to the 4th equals x. 2 to the 4th is 16. is also a transitions bonus. We need to write this as 1 log. So log base 4 of x to the third over 3 to the fifth equals 5. Okay. So remember that these can become exponents, and that a minus with 1 log becomes the division, goes to the bottom. So now I get 4 to the fifth equals x to the third over 3 to the fifth. So then all I got to do now is times by 3 to the fifth. And whatever I get there is going to be x to the third. So let's go ahead and I'll do this calculation. 3 to the fifth times 4 to the fifth. Okay. Gives me this 2, 4, 8, 8, 3, 2. And then do the cube root of that. Okay. And it gives me x equals 62.897. 899 or 898 when I round. We got to solve for the radical. So first get rid of this 3. Then raise both sides of the third power. 8 to the third. Minus 8. Same thing, I'm going to subtract 6 here. We got to solve for the radical. Oops. Then I got to divide by 2. So again, I haven't solved for the radical yet. Square both sides. X plus 5 equals 9. Subtract 5. X equals 4. I think this is a transitions bonus, but it's one we should be able to do. So again, I'm going to solve for the square root. So I add x in a sense. So we get x plus 10. Then I got to square both sides. So I'm going to square this. I'm going to square this whole side. Well, that's not. We got to just write this twice here. Got to be careful with this because we got to FOIL this. So that's a 0. So then I get x squared plus 10x plus 10x plus 100. Okay, which gives me x squared plus 20x plus 100. So then I'm going to subtract 10 and add x. Subtract 10 and add an x so that I can get 0 over here. Let's see here. That gives me 90. And then, in case you were wondering why this is not very long, we now get to use quadratic formula. Here's my A, here's my B, here's my C. X equals negative 21 plus or minus square root of 21 squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So it gives me 9. So negative 6 is one solution. Negative 15 is another solution. And we have to check these to make sure that it works out. So I'm going to check the negative 6. So I go square root of 10 minus negative 6 minus negative 6. Does that equal 10? So 10, essentially that's 10. If I type this right here in the calculator, it spits out a 4. And then that's a negative negative is a positive 6. Does that equal 10? And the answer is yes. So then I check the other side. Square root of 10 minus negative 15 minus negative 15. Does that equal 10? So I get, type that in the calculator, it's going to give me 5 plus 15. Does that equal 10? The answer to that question is no. So that means we have to throw this answer away. 25. Here's some of my time here. Okay, it's pretty long. We've got 3, 5x minus 2 to the 2/3 equals 12. This is a transitions bonus. Okay, so we got to get rid of this 3. We can't distribute it in because of that thing right there. Okay, so we get rid of that 3 and we get 5x minus 2 to the 2/3 equals 4. To get rid of 2/3, we do the opposite, which is we're going to raise 4 to the 3/2. And that'll get rid of that when I do that. So I get 5x minus 2 equals 4 to the 3/2. So I type in 4 raised to parenthesis 3 divided by 2, and it tells me that that equals 8. Add 2. Divide by 5. D6. Solve for absolute value. So add 4. Divide by 3. Ooh. Then you split it. You leave 1 alone, and you make one of them negative. You subtract 7, x equals negative 3. Subtract 7 over here, x equals negative 11. Seven. you remember these, when they're all factored out like this, what makes this equal to 0? Well, x equals 1. There's one of our solutions. X equals -5. There's the second solution. And then this one I got to pull out and say, when does that equal 0? So there's my 3 answers. Okay? 1, 2, 3 answers. So this is essentially the same thing. This kind of combines number where was that? Well, this is like number 15, but it's in factor form. So the top gives me -3 and 5. And the bottom, which are bad numbers, give me -5 and -3. So remember that if they match, you got to throw them out. And the top is the answers, unless you throw it out. So x equals -5, and hopefully we see this right away when we see an x squared. Basically, this is what we're doing. So type in the calculator, square root of 5 squared minus 4 times 2 times -7 gives me 9. And 5 plus 9 divided by 4, -5 minus 9 divided by 4. And the last one I'm going to do, and then we'll talk about graphing next, like number 30. So they're out of order. Here's my A, here's my B, here's my C. Okay, so type in that square root junk. Oh, did I make a mistake? 4A. Oh, I did make a mistake. AC. Oh, no, that's right. So this is not going to give us a real solution. Okay, so what we do here is we say, I don't think there'll be one like this on the test, but that ends up giving you an imaginary solution here. So this doesn't work because it gives you an I, and I don't think there would be like one like this on the test. So I'll have to check. Okay. All right. So then it leads to graphing, and with the graphing ones, what I want you to realize is the following stuff here. You need to first be able to match. So at first you need to be able to match basic which one is which. Okay. So the second thing you need to be able to do is to do these different things. Positive or negative, is it up or down? I'm going to go ahead and do one of these with you, say number 33. Okay. So y equals negative parentheses x minus 1 to the third plus 2. The first thing I want to do is I recognize that it's to the third power. Okay, so there's 3 here. So that tells me that I'm dealing with something like this. Okay, the bird flying through the sky. Okay, I ask, is it positive or negative? That shows up right here. So that means it's a negative, so it's pointing down. So in other words, it's not like this. Okay, it's going to be flipped upside down, which makes it go like this. Okay. Then I ask, does it have a vertex? Here's the vertex. So the next question, does it have a vertex? Here's the vertex. The vertex, if you remember with all these, is flip the sign of the first one, leave the second one alone. So that means on my graph, at 1, 2, that should be right there. Okay. That's my vertex. That's kind of where it changes. Then my next question is, what's the y-intercept? So you do that to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0. So I get negative parentheses 0 minus 1 to the third plus 2. Okay. Well, this gives me, if I type this in the calculator, I get, and you type in just like that with those parentheses, positive, we get 3 out of that. Okay. So my y-intercept should be right here at 3. Okay. And that should be enough to find its match. Okay. And if it's not, then you can even set it equal to 0. Okay. If that's not enough, then what you do is you set it equal to 0. You're going to say negative parentheses x minus 1 plus 2. When does that equal 0? Oh, I lost that. Okay. So you solve this. You say, okay, well, that's x minus 1. Subtract 2 here. I lost that negative there. Negative 2. This is essentially the negative 1 there. Divide by negative 1. Okay. And I get x minus 1 to the third equals 2. To get rid of that, I do the third root of that. And I get x minus 1 equals the third root of 2. And I add 1. So x equals the third root of 2 plus 1. And if I type that in the calculator, you get 2.26 roughly. Okay, so that would be the x-intercept. So roughly right there is 2.26. And that should be enough to find the match. Okay, hopefully you do not have to do that last step. As soon as you find your match, you're done. Okay, so that's the first part of what I wanted to show you. That took a long time. Hopefully you can skip around and find what you need.